Hi guys, welcome to the Away Fan Chat Show. Tonight we'll be previewing Burnley. We'll talk about former Fox Chris Wood's move to Newcastle. It's going to be an interesting show. Please like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV. Push that notification button. It will tell you when we are live. Guys, get involved. We want your comments. We want your views. I'll be joined by Dan, aka Kieran, from the Turf Moor House. As always, guys, if you're just joining me, we are live tonight for the Away Fan Chat Show. Tomorrow with Reedy. He'll be talking all things Leicester City from the Leicester City camp ahead of the trip to Lancashire to good old Turf Moor, a vintage football ground. Guys, get involved then, and let's get going.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, and welcome to Leicester Fan TV, the Away Fan Chat Show. If you're just joining me, smash a like. If you're watching it on Facebook, smash a like. If you're watching it on YouTube tonight, subscribe if you haven't already and you're new to Leicester Fan TV. Tonight we'll be previewing Burnley versus Leicester. A lot to talk about. Guys, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Snapchat, follow us wherever you can find it, Leicester Fan TV. Please go and push that follow button. I'll be joined shortly by Dan from the Turf Moor House, a Burnley fan channel. So let's get a few good evenings in there. Sean Sarson, hello. Ashley Ray, evening pal, how are you? Evening, Aggie. How are you? Trip to it, yeah. Get Matt Vickers on, number one fan. Yeah, if Matt Vickers wants to come on, feel free. Let's get our guest in then. Ed Sheeran. No, I'm joking. Dan from the Turf Moor House podcast. Dan, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. How was yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. What's it like following Burnley then, Dan?
Oh, at the minute, mate, it's torture. I'll be totally honest with you. It's an absolute nightmare. If you realise halfway through this why I'm getting tongue-tied, it's probably because I'm trying to stop myself say expletive after expletive about the way that Burnley season's been, because it's been an absolute shambles from day one. But lots to talk about. It's making for an interesting game. There's some interesting games coming up this weekend that could go in our favour if we get a result. Not that it's going to happen because I can't see it at all. But let's see. It's going to be interesting. But no, thanks first and foremost for having me on, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're all well.
No, pleasure. Let's talk about Chris Wood then to Newcastle. 25 million.
You've got me crying already.
Let's talk about that one then. The big man used to play for Leicester, made his debut at Leicester against Huddersfield, scored a hat-trick. His last goal, I believe, for Leicester was against Everton when we came up to the Premier League in 14-15 season. What's Chris Wood like as a player then, from a Burnley perspective before he made his move to Newcastle? How crucial of a player was he as a striker? And was he overrated or very underrated from a Burnley fan's perspective?
Ooh, a bit of both. In my opinion. I think there is certain parts of the fan base that are always well overrated. We think that basically we have to rely on him when that's not the case. People say he's massively underrated, which he is. In my opinion, I think he's massively underrated. I do think that, when you've got a player you've signed from Leeds And at the time, they were playing in the Championship. We've turned him into that Premier League forward that's banging, double figures a season. If anything, he's underrated for a team down in the bottom, always fighting to stay in the division. To get 10 goals out of a team that's always languishing, you've got to be happy with that sort of return. I mean, his words in his first interview for Newcastle aren't the best. To be fair, he's come out and said that he felt like he was in a comfort zone, and apparently you can't do your best when you're in a comfort zone. Which, to be honest, you weren't doing your best anyway, mate, because you've had 3 goals in 20 odd games this season. So I don't know. The move to Newcastle's a strange one. I think at first I was obviously upset because it's a massive key hitter. It's a key player. Our source of goals has now gone. With Maxwell Cornet at AFCON, Chris Wood obviously now leaving, just leaves us proper bare up top. So it is worrying. I looked at it and I thought, wow, 25 million when you paid 15 million. What sort of stupid release clause is that? And you've got to look at the fact of the last chairman, Mark Garlick, who clearly, as I've said to other people, would give Dash 10p and expect him to do a big shop at Waitrose. It's not going to happen. When I look at the fact that Luca Dean's just joined Aston Villa for the same amount of money, you've got to think, right, okay, that's actually not looking like a bad bit of business. For a 30-year-old with only 3 goals this season, is he on the decline? Is it the perfect time? And have we done it at the perfect time to make profit on it? It's the perfect time for the move, but it's also the worst time for our season. So it's a very hit and miss. There's fans that are glad to see him go. There are fans like myself who think he's going to be a massive miss because the strikers we've got behind us are all Championship League One quality. So I'm gutted to lose him, especially to a relegation rival as well.
He was obviously due to sign another contract, wasn't he, Chris Wood?
Yeah.
Obviously, I hear that Burnley told him it'd happen, but it never ended up doing it, did it? I mean, I hear that the same thing's happening with Ben Mee, where a contract could be on the table, but Burnley takes so long to sort these sorts of things out.
Yeah, it's getting silly. We had this in during lockdown, when Jeff Hendrick went to Newcastle, and I apologise to the Newcastle fans because you got the worst end of the deal there. You actually got Jeff Hendrick. But he's, the last chairman was very fickle. He made promises to the players and stuff like that and said, we'll sort contracts out, we'll get it all sorted. Now that there's no fans in stadiums, we can sit down, we can do this. And it never happened. For me, this new chairman's obviously come in. It's been a year now because obviously this is around the same time he came in last year. Yeah. So, this is where he's got to sit down and sort of look through all the players' contracts and go, right, this needs sorting, that player needs sorting. I'm not expecting him to throw money at these players and say, put down what you think you deserve. Because I get that. He doesn't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
But the chairman has got to do something to appease the fans. And if we take a backward step and start doing what we did, knowing us, it'll be transfer deadline day and announcing flaming Jermaine Defoe, knowing us.
I mean, he's passed it, hasn't he, Jermaine Defoe?
Which means he's in his prime for Burnley, which is so sad to say, because our squad is a pigging retirement centre at the moment. Players over 30, literally, you might as well walk in there. We're an academy for OAPs. That's how bad the club's got. It's like Dash has said, season in, season out, we have got a squad of players that, to be fair, are stiff idiots.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. They're stiff, they're robotic. Since Cornet has come in, it's almost like these players have gone, oh, we've got a player with 1, creativity, 2, flair, 3, a bit of movement into space, where if we saw space before, we'd start thinking about flaming where we can, we won't even look at it like space. We'd look at it as in like, oh, well, there's just an area of grass there that flaming somebody else could play on. It is ridiculous. This season has been awful. And I thought last season was the kick up the arse that we needed. No fans have managed to survive. I was like, right, brill. But the fact that this season we've got fans and we can be the 12th man, it's sad times, and I think I'm already resigned to us going down in a nutshell.
Yeah. You're 18th in the Premier League, aren't you, at the minute? 1 win, 8 draws, 8 loses. I mean, what's it been like from a Burnley fan's perspective this season in the Premier League?
We started this season exactly the same as we ended the last, where we got on the front foot in games, we went 1-0 up, and then we chucked the game away. And you get to full time, you've lost it 2-1. We did it on the opening day against Brighton, went 1-0 up. They brought an extra body on in midfield. We all know what's happening. We can all see it now. That as soon as the team bring on an extra body in midfield, we open up. We open up like a lady of the night's legs, honestly, right? That's how easy it is. It's so ridiculous. And yeah, we conceded 2 goals. As I said, back end of last season, we did it. Away at Southampton, 1-0 up, lost 2-1. 1-0 up against Newcastle at home, funnily enough. They brought Saint Maximin on, changed the game. They beat us 2-1. And it infuriates me because no matter what you do, you feel like you don't want to celebrate. This season away at Everton, we went 1-0 up. 6 minutes later, we're 3-1 down, and you're like, what's going on? Like, how does this even happen? So it's been very, very infuriating. And as you say from them stats, at first, most of them draws were away from home. Turf Moor definitely hasn't been a fortress at all this year. We got the 1-0. We got the 1 win against Brentford, which was lucky. Nobody expected it. But we'll just see how it goes. As I say, we're midway now, so we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm already resigned to playing in the Skybet Championship next season.
Yeah, rate your season so far then out of 10.
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
I don't even think there's a number from 1 to 10. I think you'd have to go into minus. I will say one thing. There's going to be fans that will slate me, and they've slated me with... I'm not the sort of person that likes to rant and slag the club off and basically say, I can't believe this is happening and get agitated. Usually I'm just like, laugh it off, move on, we'll go again next week. But recently, I can't shake it. I can't shake how I've been feeling, and I've been putting videos out, and all you've got is those people, that minority of Burnley fans that are still stuck from 34 years ago going, you weren't there in the doldrums of Division 4 when Burnley had to beat Leyton Orient. All right, okay, so we'll bring the Orient game up because that was worse than what we are now. Yeah, let's bring history up. What about the fact that when we made the Premier League, none of you were saying, hold on, in the 60s, we won the top division. Why aren't we winning it again? I said, you can't have one. The way our fan base works is almost like going up to somebody and saying, oh, sorry, I wasn't there the other day. My grandma died. And then putting their arm around you and going, it could be worse. It could be your mum. That's how bad our fan base is. It's ridiculous. So to them naysayers in the fan base, history is history, right? Never mind the Orient game.
Yeah.
It's what's happening now. I can accept us going down. And I am already accepting of it, in my opinion. It's the manner in which we're going down that pains me the most because there's no fight, there's no passion. You've got Tarkowski who's making mistakes left, right, and centre all season. You've just lost your main striker. It just does. Things just don't seem right at all. Out of 10, -2.
Talking about James Tarkowski, it's been linked with Leicester the last 3 seasons now. I mean, give an insight into James Tarkowski to a Leicester fan. If you was talking to a Leicester fan, I mean, what is James Tarkowski like? I mean, I hear he's one of them who, when Brentford, his time there, when Burnley came in for him, he wanted to move. He pushed the move. He wasn't bothered. He didn't want to play for Brentford. Are you getting that same buzz now as a Burnley fan as what Brentford got when he spent his time at Brentford? Obviously, he just don't seem interested, does he, James Tarkowski? And it feels that he doesn't want to play for Burnley Football Club. It's like they're pressuring him to do so, even though he don't want to be there.
Yeah, it almost feels like a do or die situation. It's almost like he's gone into Dash's office and Dash has turned around to him and said that, we're not going to sell you in the window. We need you. We need you. You and Ben at the back have been solid whenever, when you've played and you've played together. At the moment, to be honest, I'd drive him to a club myself. I would, because the way he's been this season has been awful. Mistake after mistake. And I think it's because his head's been turned. But again, as you rightly said, at Brentford, all of a sudden, I've got a tummy bug, I can't play. 2 days later, he's being announced as a Burnley player. And then there were, in the summer window, he started playing, I don't feel too clever. And we thought, here we go. Here we go. We've been here before. So maybe he's trying a different tactic. Maybe if I just, make a hash of stuff, show him that my heart's not in it. But we can see that. We can see that week in, week out. He doesn't look arsed. Even in the dying minutes, when of the last game, he missed a header. And he got up and he was laughing about it. And you're just like, he didn't care. It wasn't a case of like, oh, shit, I missed. Like, what's going on? It was like, that's right. I'm not going to be here end of season anyway. So what's the point? So his demeanour is all wrong. It's one of them things that you always look at when you're trying to buy a player, don't you? You look at their background, what they're like as a person, stuff like that. As a person, genuinely, he's a decent guy. But recently, he's starting to show little snippets of where it can go wrong. And this season, I totally understand why he's not been in any England setup, because he's been so poor, it's unbelievable. But on a CV, it's legal now, isn't it, that if you leave a job and you want to go to another job and you needed to give them a reference, they've got to be decent. So we'd give you a decent reference just to try and ship him on, so don't worry about it.
I just hope he don't end up the same at Leicester if he does end up at Leicester. I mean, he could be a great defender on his day, proven. Yeah. I think with Tarky, it's just a case that his head isn't in it. And I mean, with players, it's like the Mahrez situation at Leicester. His head wasn't in there. He'd sit in airports wanting to move to Barcelona or whoever would take him. Then he'd sit there, cry like a baby, throw his dummy out the pram and not play for the football club. I mean, with these players, you want the uttermost respect for the football club as a footballer. You want to wear the shirt 100% until you do want that move, And if you're not, then the fans are going to know about it, aren't they? They're going to slate you. They're going to chant whatever. I mean, Tarkowski needs to basically grow up sort of thing and actually play until the end of his contract. If a team isn't interested this January, see out your contract, prove why you should be getting a move to another
That's what
club.
I mean. It's a catch-22 situation. Do you sell him now, make a little bit of profit by selling him on? Yeah. Or do you say, literally, we will honour the fact that you can go on a free at the end of the season. We have no problem with that whatsoever. Go on a free, talk to who you want, where you want, do whatever with your agent, go on holiday, do anything. Enjoy yourself. Make the most of your career. As long as you stay, put your 110% in, week out, to try and keep this club in the Premier League. It's not just that. On the flip side of that, he goes on a free, he's worked his arse off, he'll get a really good move. But no, at the moment, it's almost like, couldn't give a shit. It is what it is. If I know I'm good enough, I know I'll get a move. Yeah. Somebody will be interested. And that's sort of the demeanour he's got. And at the moment, it's definitely the wrong way to look at things.
Guys, if you're enjoying the show so far, please smash a like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV if you're new. We've got Dan on from the Turf Moor House podcast. Is a Burnley fan channel. If you're a neutral and you love football, go and check out his channel. Dan, there, one win at Turf Moor this season. How bad has it been watching Burnley at home this season?
It's been like watching Derby for me, from the Paul Jewell era. It's been daunting, and we're fed up of hearing the same stuff. We're fed up of hearing these are seasoned pros that they know the task in hand. Well, if they know the task in hand, why are we always fighting every season in, season out? And I've said this to other people, this is going to be the weirdest comparison that you've probably heard. But Burnley and Barcelona have something in common. Barcelona had the same players, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Piqué, Victor Valdez and stuff like that. And they were getting to like 35, 36, and they were knocking on. And eventually, Barcelona couldn't find the players that were of the similar caliber. Now, we're in a weird sense, we're sort of that club now. We've got 11 players on the pitch, and literally they're all overaged. They're all, ready to think about the next things they've got going on in their careers and stuff like that. Whether they want to stay in football, whether they want to go into coaching, whether they want to do their own thing. But we haven't got the investment that Barcelona could have. So how do we then replace the bulk of our first team with decent enough quality? Because you can't go picking out, another Vardy for $1 million, can you? You can't do that these days. You're looking in non-league before you even then a player having a good season in non-league, you're looking at 1 to 2 million nowadays. So it's silly money. One win at the turf this season, though, it's absolutely embarrassing. It really, really is. I really don't know what to say, because performance-wise, it's almost like we've changed. We've got on the front foot in games. We've tried to be a bit more expansive, but it's shown so many cracks at the back. And as soon as you get through that midfield, it's almost like the back four go, oh shit, and that's it. And it all just crumbles. We fall apart. So, yeah, it won't surprise me if it's still 1 win at the end of the season. Although I've said that now, and it won't surprise me if we get something now on Saturday, which obviously from Burnley side, I hope so, but I can't see it. I really can't.
Foot in both camps then, Ben Mee. Tell me about Ben Mee at Burnley. I mean, I remember his first very game for Leicester City, gave away 2 penalties at home to Millwall. Tell me about Ben Mee as a defender at Burnley. How good has he been? And how good is he as a club captain?
He's pretty much Mr. Burnley in our sense. If we lose Ben Mee, it's sort of, that's our backline. The strength of our backline has gone. Without Ben Mee, it's like ripping the spine out of a team. And you could say, yeah, it's Chris Wood or it's McNeil or it'll be Cornet. But no, defensively, Ben Mee, no matter who he's had at the side of him, whether it be 30-odd-year-old Michael Duff, he managed to keep him playing till like the later stages of his 30s in the Premier League. Yeah. Michael Keane came in as a young lad, turned him into an England international. Tarkowski came in, became an England international. Nathan Collins, the 20-year-old that we've got on the bench that we signed from Stoke this season, he'll end up going on to play, regular football for his national side in the Republic of Ireland. So, Ben Mee has been an absolute stalwart. As I say, Mr. Burnley from start to finish. And I hope that's going to be the case. I hope that he carries on his career and stays there till the end. However, contracts, money talks, things like that, latter stages of your career, do you think, right, one more move? It depends. There's a lot of things with footballers, isn't there? Is the family settled? It's absolute madness. But I can't see Ben Mee going anywhere. He's sort of like bricks and mortar. He's like part of the turf. He's part of Burnley. And what a defender he is, though. What an absolute defender he is. Club stalwart. Whenever there's been problems, he's come out and he's said something, like the White Lives Matter banner at Manchester City. They started asking him questions about the game. And he was like, I don't want to speak about the game. Can I just apologise on behalf of everybody associated with Burnley Football Club for a set of minority fans? Fair play to him. He stood up that day and stood there like a man. And to do that for a football club is massive. And I think anybody in the Premier League to the bottom of the EFL, non-league even, if anybody had a Ben Mee in the team, it'd be 10 times better, because what a man that guy is.
Let's talk about the money talk situation. I'm going to put Newcastle into context. Kieran Trippier, Champions League club with Atletico Madrid, quite happy in Spain. Newcastle come along and give him all this money. You guys know Kieran Trippier, his time at Burnley. Is it a move that he wanted, or do you think he's gone there just for the Wonga?
I think it's a case of last chance saloon for a chance in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Being in his 30s, I also think that there's got to be a money element to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 young kids. That's probably been a big reason for his move. Maybe the fact he's back in England is closer to family of his and his missus. the thing that bugs me is literally 5 months before he's moved to Newcastle, he did an interview saying basically he had his tongue between Sean Dyche's arse cheeks, saying, "I will only play for Sean Dyche." That's all they were doing. And literally, the only club I will come back to the Premier League and play for is Burnley. I will play under Sean Dyche again. It wouldn't surprise me. Eddie Howe gets sacked. Sean Dyche goes to Newcastle. This is the thing. You remember the video with Newcastle when Matt Ritchie were linked with Bournemouth, and then they signed Ryan Fraser and I can't remember who else it were, but Andy Carroll did a video saying like, Matt Ritchie to Bournemouth, we'll bring Bournemouth to Ritchie. So that's what they've done with Jeff Hendrick. Jeff Hendrick to Burnley. No, we'll bring Burnley to Hendrick. Then it's mad. You've got Hendrick there, Eddie Howe, Kieran Trippier, Chris Wood. Like, who else do you want? It's madness, absolute madness. But yeah, fair play to Newcastle. I can't really slag them off. If I do, it's just because of obvious jealousy, really, at the fact that they've got the money and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we'll just see. I hope it's one of those where they buy these players, they're expecting it to gel straight away, and it just, as we saw in the Cambridge game.
Mikey T asks, what's your views on Nick Pope if you're relegated?
Nick Pope will go to Spurs.
That's a big shout, that, considering Conte's bored and that at Tottenham. I mean,
I think it'd be out of all the clubs that are in that top end of that division.
Yeah,
Lloris is coming towards the end of his career. Is he going to want a final payout at PSG or something? Or is he going to go to the MLS? And then, I think Nick Pope would work perfectly. You've got Ramsdale, who's obviously hit the hearts at Arsenal, so he's not going to get in there. Chelsea have got Mendy and Kepa. Man United have got De Gea, and then a load of ex-Burnley has-beens behind them, apart from Henderson. So it's, and we don't have to include even City or teams like Liverpool and stuff. So, yeah, Spurs would be a very good move for him. I think we will lose him, obviously, if we go down. We'll lose a lot of players. We will lose a lot of players. And the players that we've got in the squad are not strong enough to bring us back up. I'll tell you that now.
Jack, would you prep him at Leicester? Nick Pope? Do you know what? I think he's one of the best English goalkeepers.
It wouldn't surprise me.
England.
You can only keep Schmeichel for a bit longer, really, can't you?
Pickford.
Oh, definitely better than Pickford.
It's far better than Pickford. I don't think Pickford's a dinosaur, isn't it? 35 million for that. I mean,
how old is Schmeichel now?
Schmeichel is now 35. So
he's at peak for a keeper, isn't he?
Yeah. He's done all what's asked of him, Kasper Schmeichel. He's won everything at Leicester City. And he's kept us in some very crucial games over the years. Let's look at the last 5 games then in the Premier League. 2 draws, 3 losses. Your next 5 Premier League games after Leicester is Watford, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool and Brighton.
Yeah, as you say, I'm going to sound like Sean Dyche now. We need to take it one game at a time. Obviously, this Leicester game is massive. You've got other big games this weekend, though. You've got Newcastle at home to Watford. You've got Norwich against Everton. Even throw Wolves Southampton in there, at the moment and stuff. There's a couple of games in there that if they go in our favour and we get a result, we could be back in that hunt for staying up. I'm not saying that we're out of it. Obviously, It's mathematically possible that we could still win every game and finish bloody 8th, 9th, whatever. It's not going to happen, though. But, the next 5 games are interesting because they're up against big teams. We're not expected to get anything because we don't get anything against the teams around us. So will those big teams play weakened sides? Will it be a case of that we... it's not just that, though. We've got some games in hand as well. The Watford game's obviously been rescheduled. That's our next one after you guys.
Is that next week?
Yeah, that's midweek. So straight after you guys. I think Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's
And
going to
then,
define where you finish. I think if either one of you lose, you get relegated, isn't it?
well, that's what I mean. We've got Watford to play yet from the games in hand. We've got Everton and we've got Spurs. So all three of them need to be rescheduled. Well, the Everton and Tottenham one need to be rescheduled. The Watford one, obviously, is this week. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. I used to enjoy going to turf now. But now it's sort of like, it's not. All I'll say is, before everybody else says it, it's not a happy place right now.
Mikey T asks, sorry, I may have missed, what are Burnley's plans for replacing Chris Wood? I mean, I've got some transfer news for you. Christian Pedersen to Burnley from, is it Birmingham, is it?
That one's a bit left field. I don't know. We can't.
Forest in Coventry are after him as well as Burnley.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it? That speaks volumes. Coventry, who have done naff all, literally tried to survive in the league every season, and they're linked with him. Forest always trying to punch above their weight at the moment as a mediocre championship team, and yet they're linked with flaming us as well. I mean, I don't know if he's young. I don't know if he's young and he might have a real. This is what we don't know at boardroom level. From what I've heard, Dash wants a seasoned Premier League player. He wants someone that is naturally going to go out and grab your goals, where the board are almost like, no. We want a player that has got a good resale value. And I get it. It's a business. You've got to sometimes think about the years ahead. But you've just got 25 million for a 30-year-old. I don't care whether you splashed that 30 million on loaning Aubameyang. If he got your goals and he kept you up, do it. Take the risk. It's one thing Burnley have been too scared to do for too long. We've not delved into the foreign market as much. We are literally hanging by the bare bones of our arse. Kiefer Moore's an absolute quality one because he fits the mould of that Sam Vokes, Chris Wood sort of player. Does Kiefer Moore, a big lad, big presence. And Seko Fofana, I mean, apparently he's meant to be really decent.
£17 million rejected from the French side.
That would definitely be our highest paid transfer fee if it was to come off. Obviously, as you said, they're rejected, so it's going to take at least 25, probably the money for Chris Wood to bring him in. But can Maxwell Cornet sort of sweeten the deal since he's an Ivory Coast teammate? Who knows? It'll be an interesting one. But we are screaming for a Cam, a decent player that can play a ball through. And apparently he's been player of the month in the French league twice this season already. So it'll be a good acquisition if we can bring him in.
What are your thoughts on Maxwell Cornet? I watched him at the King Power Stadium this season. I think he's an incredible talent, phenomenal. Bet you guys were very surprised that he picked Burnley this season to go to. I feel that with Cornet, he's using you guys as a stepping stone. Is that how you guys look at it as a Burnley fan going onwards this season?
It's interesting. I'll put it that way. It's one that we sort of thought, this will never happen. This will never come off. And then in the video to him being brought in, it shows Alan Pace flying out to France and he's trying to talk him round to come join Burnley, and they've got this vision and things like that. Obviously, I know some of your fan base aren't really warming to Maxwell Cornet after his being off the pitch and then coming back on the pitch and sitting down. I get that. But yeah, he's been a breath of fresh air. Again, a player that's scored wonder goals against Man City in the Champions League to come and play Kirby on a cul-de-sac with Burnley Football Club. It's silly. It's madness. And we don't deserve him, in my opinion. We don't deserve him. He's a player of top quality. And as you said, it's a case of he is going to use Burnley as a stepping stone. If we go down, he's going to get a really good move. So, yeah, it's interesting. I love the guy. I love the guy to bits. And I just hope that we can keep him for more than one season. I know full well he won't play Championship football, put it that way.
Yeah, he's got a £20 million buyout clause if Burnley are to get relegated to the Championship. There'd be someone I'd look at for Leicester. I mean, talking to him after the Burnley game that day, I said to him, I said, we need someone like you. I said, we ain't quite brought in someone to replace Riyad Mahrez. I mean, he's irreplaceable, Mahrez. We haven't done it. I mean, Cornet would be the perfect fit. Even St. Maximan from Newcastle for Leicester would be the perfect fit. And I mean, if Burnley do get relegated, that's a massive snip of £20 million for a player of Cornet's calibre. I mean, that free kick against Leeds summed him up.
Massively. It's one of them as well for Newcastle, where if Newcastle came in for him as well, because they'll throw the name into anybody at the moment, won't they? And 20 million to them is pocket money. That's to Newcastle. If you washed up, they'd be like, there you go, here's 20 million tip. Because that's money to them at the moment. Could you imagine a Newcastle side with St. Maximan on one side and Maxwell Cornet on the other? That would be frightening. Absolutely frightening.
It's bloody madness. I mean, don't say that. Newcastle might be listening. Let's move on to the Burnley-Leicester game then. The game at Turf Moor. Leicester in the last 5 games against Burnley have obviously... Burnley beat us twice. We've drawn one time there. And Burnley have lost twice to us. Very even, if you ask me, for the last 5 games. Which is your most memorable game against Leicester, Dan? Is a Burnley fan watching Leicester versus Burnley at Turf Moor?
I think you've got to go back to the pivotal game of the season. We were both battling it out for first and second place.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I think Chris Wood scored against us that day in the Championship. I think it was a decent goal for him. That's one game that sticks in my mind. Recent games, not at the Turf, but at your place, you know, VAR, Wood against Johnny Evans slipping on his arse and the goal not being given. And then this season, the last minute goal that didn't get given, and because of all this, if you're offside by a fingernail, crap that's out there now. But there's been some memorable games between us, and I can't say a bad word. For me, I've only been to the King Power once, and that's when it was named the Walker Stadium at that time, and we had our former defender Steve Davis in for the day as caretaker manager. The only game he managed, and we won 1-0 thanks to Andy Gray. So that we're going back. I think that were on a Remembrance Sunday. They brought the ball down on a helicopter and stuff like that. I remember that. So I were only young at the back of the stand with my top off, as you do. We're bloody freezing and all.
Well, it's quite cold up north in Lancashire. Obviously, it's crazy. The team to play Leicester then. What Burnley team are we going for then? The 11 players play Leicester. Obviously, with Chris Wood's move going to Newcastle, he won't feature, which I'm quite glad about considering he's got a good record against Leicester for goals, Chris Wood.
Yeah, I think this is where our forwards now need to sort of step up. They need to basically think, right, players like Rodriguez, this is last chance saloon. This is your time to shine. This in a way is like when Leeds got promoted and they brought in Rodrigo and they thought this guy's going to be the source of goals. But then Bamford just all of a sudden found this extra level and started banging them in for fun. That's what we need from someone like Rodriguez now to step up and become that. I can't believe I just said Jay Rodriguez step up and be a Bamford. Wow. Basically, I've got to go Pope in goal, Lawton at right back. This is all obviously dependent on COVID cases and stuff like that, but Lawton at right back. I think you've got to go Tarky and me at the back. As much as for me, I'd drop Tarkowski and play Collins.
Yeah.
Although if you do drop him, our fan base in the pub before the game will be all like, where's he off? Where's he going? So probably play him just to shut the naysayers up. Left back would obviously be Charlie Taylor. I think we'd have to go back. Oh, would we go back to a 4-4-2? I don't know. I think you've got to look at Goodmanson on the right, Brownhill and Westwood in the centre. If not Westwood, Jack Cork. On the left, Dwight McNeil. Up front, I think he's probably going to go with Rodriguez and Vidra.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on Mate Vydra?
I don't think he's been given a fair crack at the whip. I think he needs a run of games. You can't expect a player to come on and just start banging them in for fun. He needs a run of games. It's like if you were out for a season because you'd done your ankle in, and all of a sudden you come back from a game and you're not quite sharp enough. Yeah. You're going to get told, you weren't at your best, but we know what you're capable of, etc. But we signed Vydra when he'd finished top goal scorer in the division below.
Well, that Derby, was it?
Yeah. And then we did it when, we did it with Wood. Chris Wood was top goal scorer for Leeds. We ended up poaching him. But with Wood, we give him that game time, and it worked. With Vydra, we haven't. And Vidra's got that little bit of something as well. He can nick a goal from nothing. I think a bit of confidence, a run of games, and Vydra could be key to our survival. But let's see what we have up our sleeves in the window.
Jack question. Win against Burnley and a win and Liverpool, or a win against Forest in the cup, which would you take? I mean, the league's crucial for Leicester. Obviously, we're beating Liverpool. Liverpool were laughing at us because we couldn't beat their B side. I mean, there could have been a few red cards in that game. I'd take a win against Burnley and Liverpool, to be honest, because we need it for top 6 this season. I'd take a win against the Notts Forest. So I'm not going to choose between either one, to be honest, because I'm a fan who likes to go into game thinking we can win every game possible.
I wish I had that mentality, mate. I really did.
Predictions for Burnley then this season? Are we staying up or are we going down?
I think it's a case of that's it for me. I think we've decided to the drop. If we stay up, brilliant. It's almost going to be like a West Brom on the final day of the season where we're hoisting Sean Dyche in the air like we've got to bloody Europe again. But it's been such a horrible season. If we stay up, there's someone looking down on us. I'm non-religious, but I'm telling you what, there will be someone looking down on us if we stay up. This is the time of year, though, where we start putting a run of games together.
Yeah.
It's just that this year we don't look like we have the edge to do it. And I've said to other people, last season there were 3 teams worse off than us. This season we are one of them 3. And it's scary, scary times. But yeah, for me, I'm already resigned to us going down to the dropping down the division.
Score prediction then, Dan, for Burnley versus Leicester. Get your score predictions in below, Leicester fans. If you're watching, what's the score going to be? As Burnley take on Leicester in Lancashire at Turf Moor on Saturday.
There is a very good chance that you guys do to us what you did to Southampton last season. Honestly, there really is. We're that poor. We are that poor. I mean, the only chance we've got of winning something in this game is the fact that your squad's quite depleted at the moment.
Yeah. And
that is the only chance that we've got of obviously getting something out of this game. If we don't get anything out of this game, nah, but that's it. Stick a big fat R outside of our name already. Because if you can't beat a bunch of players that, at the moment, you've got some of your first team, but you've got some really good youth coming through as well, as we've seen in some of your recent matches. It's, for me, this seasoned pro tag, you can't keep using that if you're going to get beat by kids, a mixed bag that aren't really a team that play together week in, week out, when we've been a team that's played together now for God knows how many seasons. So it's tough. I'm going to go... I'm going to be nice to Burnley and say we lose 2-0.
That's why I went for on the other Burnley fan channels 2-0 Leicester.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for a 2-0 Leicester. I can't back Burnley at the moment.
We can't underestimate you or overlook you either, because you get slapped in the face for doing things like that. I mean, Leicester, we've got 5 players back for this game. Dewsbury Hall, Luke Thomas, maybe Castagna. We've got quite a few back. Seunchu, Patson Daka. I mean, Daka on the run. he's going to be clinical in front of goal, Patson Daka, especially with a pace. I've gone for a James Tarkowski red card, would you believe? So if Daka gets away, I'm sure I could see a red card in the game. But I just hopefully it ain't for us and it's for you guys. Where can everyone find you, Dan?
I'm usually lurking in the bins Monday to Friday, but anyway, if I'm not there, I'm at Bargain Booze, trying to drink my sorrows away, being a Burnley fan. But nah, you can find me on YouTube at Turf Moor House. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. As I say, all under the same name at Turf Moor House. And fingers crossed the channel will grow because we've got some good things coming up.
Yeah, right then, Dan. Good luck after Saturday, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, cheers for having me, Jack. Thanks a lot. Really means a lot, and good luck for the rest of the season. Cheers,
pal. See you in a bit. That was Dan from Turf Moor House, giving us a really good insight into Burnley this season. Guys, coming up on Leicester Fan TV, then Reedy tomorrow night. Talking all things Leicester City and all the key players coming back for this weekend's game. We've also got the watch along on Saturday with the lads. Join us for that. We've got the post-match analysis with Jamie for the famous Aftermath show on Sunday. Will it be a win for the Foxes in Lancashire on Saturday? Let's hope so. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's really been a great show, talking all things Leicester City ahead of Burnley and getting a really good insight into the opposition. Guys, smash a like, share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, smash a like. Push that notification button, as always. It's really been much appreciated. Every comment matters, by the fans, for the fans. Phil will be back on Monday, of course, and then I'll be back next Tuesday for Leicester versus Tottenham preview show. Pete McIntosh has gone for a 1-0. So yeah, guys, thank you so much to everybody who has watched Leicester Fan TV tonight for the Away Fan Chat show. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Snapchat. Wherever you can find us at Leicester Fan TV, please go and follow us. Sponsors, thank you to these guys: ADT, Hollogram, Tiger, Pizzeria, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, the Foxes Arms, Newby Co, and Hope Against Cancer. Right, guys, thank you for watching. This is Jack from Leicester Fan TV saying goodbye for now. And come on, Leicester. Let's do this. Let's go, the boys. Blue Army. See you in a bit.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.